Azeroth was the goddess the Titans imprisoned. Elharna revealed. What? Who's Elhara? I don't know anything about this. The goddess of the earth. Maybe there's some interplay here with the Tauren god, the sun god. Maybe some other stuff about the night elves with the loon and everything else. I don't know. But we're discovering more things about Azeroth here heading into midnight. And obviously the imprisonment of Azeroth, we already know a lot of that from the campaign that we played through here in the War Within. So let's see what else is coming from this in Doran.
No need to speculate anymore what Azeroth is or if the Titans are evil. We just got confirmed answers to both. Azeroth was a goddess called Anhara that the Titans had ripped out and stolen from a location known as the Cradle, and they transferred her into the prison in Kazagar. With the new Midnight Alpha update, we got some of the most groundbreaking lore that we've gotten pretty much since the Chronicle. Yes, the entire Titan storyline was a complete lie and a cover-up. The Haranir are the ancestors to the trolls, the original race created by
I think we knew that.
Azeroth, and they had to hide when the Titans started ordering Azeroth, aka conquering it.
Wait a minute, they're more ancient than the trolls? Would they fucking reverse? You know, did they degrade into trolls? How did that happen? I assumed they were the link between, because they look like a half night elf, half troll. So I thought they were like the bridge gap, you know, the missing link, evolutionary link between trolls and night elves. But what he just said was that they were pre-troll. Like they were the first creation, okay.
Was the original race created by the goddess Azeroth, and they had to hide when the Titans started ordering Azeroth, aka conquering Azeroth, and just using its resources. So let's look into this, because legit, this is the most groundbreaking lore we had gotten since forever. While having the best deals on the market for all games and software, Gamivo just added mobile top-ups for your favorite mobile games with the best prices that you can get with my Gamivo link in the description below. Best of all, if you use my code DORON, your discount will be even bigger, so make sure to use my link in the description and the code and check out Gamivo. So, literally, we do have the craziest new information that just kinda came out of nowhere. We suspected it and all, but in the Midnight Alpha, Blizzard just gave us potentially the most important lore since the Chronicle. And I know I say this pretty much all the time, but this really does change everything. I mean, this really is absolutely crazy. So, we've known for a while now that the entire Chronicle theory was pretty much BS, and recently that was essentially confirmed, but it was never fully confirmed. The entire storyline that Azeroth is an ascent Titan waiting to be awakened by the Saviors, the Titans.
Yeah,
that's
Titan propaganda.
We've gotten hints throughout Dragonfight that Azeroth may be elemental in nature, and that it is something different, and that the Titans had started corrupting her, so she's not naturally a Titan. However, no need to speculate anymore on this topic. We got the official confirmed information on Azeroth and what really happened back in the day, at least a significant part of the story. So, you know how the Haranir used to refer to Azeroth as a goddess in the War Within? Well, that turned out to actually be the case. Azeroth's name is Anhara, and she was located in a place called the Cradle, which is actually Harandar, that we will visit in midnight. The Titans arrived, ripped her out.
Oh, okay, so now that makes sense. See, and I've been saying this for a while now. The Harandar zone just doesn't feel like it fits at midnight. This feels like it was supposed to be part of the War Within. And it would make sense, actually, because the War Within was originally supposed to give us all of the Azeroth lore, and then it was kind of stretched out and pieced apart into the World Soul Saga once Mensid came back and realized the entire team had finger-popped all the lore away and nothing's good anymore in this game. So that now makes sense, because this Cradle of Life, where Azeroth originally came from, we got all the lore about how she was imprisoned, but not what she originally was or where she came from. Now we're going to get that lore in this Cradle of Life stuff with the Haranir. Okay, that makes sense. All of the stuff with the Ethereals and Demacia, it felt like it was shoehorned in to the end of War Within, and this should have been the actual end of War Within. Now they kind of flipped them to link the two expansions together. That's what, okay. That makes sense.
We'll visit in midnight. The Titans arrived, ripped her out, put her in the prison in Kazakhstan.
This guy is good at telling stories and making stuff up. Look, Doran has speculated before. If you want to say making stuff, yes, he has speculated many times in videos. But I'm not going to lie, a lot of his midnight stuff has been just based on alpha fact. Like, there's a lot of things that he's been spitting out lately. It's been very true. That's why I call him the Doran, the teller of 1,000 truths. That's right.
Sounds super crazy, but let's look at this brand new information from the alpha. So the new zone Harandar is the location where the World Soul actually was. There is a root circle where she used to be, and it is the physical location of the Rift of Owl. This appears to be
Ah.
her heart is a crater. We have filled it, the entire whisper. This might actually be it. When Azeroth was ripped out by the Titans, the wound left, as they say, violence that will not heal, aka the Rift of Allen that I just mentioned. It is full of alum dust, which by the way has the exact same color scheme as Azerite, and this dust gives Haranir the powers to use these roots. Interesting enough, Azeroth has a companion, Cloud Serpent Spirit called Al-Sharan, but we'll get to that later, as that could play into something entirely different. Now, the Haranir
Look, the roots, all the root stuff has become so important, and there's been hints about roots having major importance ever since the Whispers of N'Zoth. If you guys remember, he had this whole thing about deeper its roots will go, ushering in our coming. Like there was stuff about roots from long before we ever got the War Within expansion. So they've been cooking on this for a little while now, and it looks like her original cocoon, or where she was forming, was in this giant ball of roots. Okay, more root stuff, which makes the world trees seem that much more important, which makes the destruction of the world trees that much more important. Yeah, we kind of burned one down heading into Shadowlands.
actually a core race, one of the oldest mortal
And we
races
planted
on
a new
Azeroth,
one
probably the original race
in
that
Dragonflight.
survived the Titan onslaught under the ground. They say that Alnara, aka the World Soul, created them, and they're like proto-trolls, the ancestors of all the trolls. They refer to other races as lesser troll kind. As the new lore goes, they
They said what now? They're calling why are the trolls the trolls in WoW always get trolled? Damn, they're talking shit about them. They're calling them the lesser troll kind. Shit.
As the new lore goes, they have been around for tens of thousands of years, and they had to hide during the Titan reign. So they actually used to live on Azeroth, but they had to hide during the Titan arrival when these guys started ordering Azeroth. Freya, Wild Gods, the Titan Forged marched around Hyjal, but the Haranir managed to hide. They actually developed druidic shape-shifting during this time to blend in with the occupation. It is around this time that the two groups were created, the Dark Trolls and the ones that went below. As you may know, this other group are the Night Elves. However, as this original group hid in the ground further and further, they started encountering crazy Titan Forged constructs, old god minions, Nerubians, and this really is when they had first reached Khazakar. During this time, the Titans were having a field day on Azeroth. They were already transforming dragons, and they actually heard about the Haranir. They tried to dig them out to order them, but they never actually managed to do it.
I did not pre-watch this, and I don't know why you're saying. Maybe you're talking about because I said world trees and roots. I mean, that just makes sense. You're connecting the dots here. Obviously, where'd all the roots come from? They come from the world trees. So, I mean, that makes sense. Also, I wonder how all this is going to play. We know Aman'Thul hates world trees. That guy just ripped that shit out of the planet. He don't care. But what's her name? The other Titan, the goddess, the planty one. She's kind of hot too. She loves world trees. She plants all this shit. She cried when Aman'Thul ripped one out of the planet and all this stuff happened. So I'm wondering if she's gonna take our side. I wonder if we're going to have a division in the Titans when the last Titan expansion comes around and we finally get to deal with them. Freya, yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Because I feel like Freya is okay with nature, which means she's okay with a little bit of disorder. And she was very sad when the whole World Tree thing happened. So we'll see if she eventually flips onto our side. Maybe we could have a Freya-Sargeras team-up on our side. Who knows? Then we're fighting the Titans and all that stuff goes down. Could be interesting.
Now, here is what is really interesting. Harandar is apparently the original location where Azeroth's World Soul was, and the Titans found her and ripped her out, and then apparently transferred her to Khazakar. Now, all these World Tree routes are actually connected in Harandar, and this allows the Haranir to travel across the world. Recently, their leader, Orbenia, started
that's their racial abilities, the ability to ride through the routes to different locations in the world. So you can travel between world trees if you are a Haranir.
Out of this eternal hiding, essentially, and this happened after she started hearing the Radiant Song. Keep in mind though, the prophecy beware the eyes are green, so maybe the Dreadlords put their hands in on these guys to get them out of hiding, to do something else. But we'll discuss that in a different video. What is really interesting though is how absolutely crazy this new
now Thraxian, right, the Dreadlord who dabbles in the light, right, who is like a light forged Dreadlord. You shouldn't trust him at all. But he becomes more relevant in this expansion. Obviously, with the whole light forged, the light army, and all the paladins fighting against the void, all that's coming to fruition. So we could get some more Dreadlord lore. So maybe a return of Sire Denathrius. Just say it. It could happen. I don't know if it's going to, but I would love to see more Dreadlord lore because I actually think they're freaking badass.
More Revelation is, I mean, it literally changes
Sire
the entire lore
Denathrius
from
is
the
a great
ground
character.
up. While this new lore indicates that Azeroth is a goddess called Anhara, it doesn't change like the entire World Soul thing. I mean, it is still the Prime World Soul. Anhara is the name that Haranir used as her followers, but we still don't have information as to what kind of goddess she really is and what her original form used to look like. It does, however, reveal what the World Souls kinda are. We previously wondered where even is the World Soul and what does one awakening even mean? How does that happen? Are they like omnipresent across Azeroth or are they in a single place? It looks like they are in fact in a single place.
And I wonder if every World Soul is born the same way. Like, are they all just in giant root balls before they get, picked up by the Titans or whatever? Or because one thing about these different World Souls, and we haven't seen what Azeroth looks like yet, but they all seem to look different. I mean, the Titans themselves all look different, and maybe they were, we still don't know exactly if they were all previously World Souls, that Aman'Thul showed up and changed. We have no idea. But I do wonder, looking back at, the things that we did and how World Souls have come about and what their original look was, if they're all born the same way or if Azeroth, again, is like the most important World Soul ever, and just she was brought about in a different way.
Azeroth, or are they in a single place? It looks like they are in fact in a single place. What is even more interesting is that apparently you can rip out a World Soul and just kind of put it in a different place. Obviously, something magical is happening around the World Soul because the Titans couldn't just build a prison around it, and for some reason they chose that one spot, Kazagar, but I think we'll learn why a bit later down the line. But this 100% confirms the Titans are in fact evil. They are invaders. They're literally the same thing as the Black Empire, the Titan Empire, that wanted to use Azeroth for their own goals. I think the Kazagar World Chamber thing might be like a capsule or something where they brought Anhara in order to possibly convert her into a Titan. However, this raises a ton of questions as to what were the old gods doing then? Why didn't they just steal Azeroth or take her into the heart of the Black Empire? However, looks like the old gods corrupting world trees isn't just one of the things.
Well, I think it's because corruption takes time. The old gods were not powerful enough to just simply overpower, mentally corrupt the World Soul like overnight. Corruption takes time. They had to leak into everything. They had to get into the roots. They had to do all this slow motion stuff in terms of corrupting her over and preparing her for, Demancius, I guess, or the Void Lords, whatever. And then they kind of fell off on that trail and they wanted to just be lords of Azeroth, right? They didn't want Demancius to come destroy the planet anymore. And that's where all this new Xal'atath lore came in. So it's all starting to connect up a little bit. It'll be interesting if it continues to.
They do, but it seems to have been their main goal. As you can see, world trees are all connected to the original location of Azeroth. Roots are still around, so world trees are much more than just large magical trees. This even connects the entire Shadowlands ordeal in Ardenweald and the world tree that was there as well. Something is going on with that too. Also, if you didn't see recently, we started getting information that the Titans might have also put their hands on creating the Shadowlands as well, like some sort of a deal, like something is artificially happening there. So the Shadowlands might literally just be another layer of the prison they just imposed on us, and it may be powered through Anhara that they had stolen. This really is groundbreaking as it seems to personify World Souls. Maybe they really are figures and not just like large bundles of energy inside a core of a planet. With some of these hints, you can imagine Azeroth to be akin to like one mega wild god, but honestly, nothing confirms it yet. It is really just Haranir having a name for the World Soul and worshipping her as a goddess. Now, it appears with the alpha that we will get more questlines like the weekly Titan archives that we had back in the War Within, so this is just the start, but it already reveals a crazy amount of information. We got the entire questline in the alpha right now with certain sections of the world trees, the culture of the Haranir, some more details, and interesting enough, the burning of Teldrassil was actually one of the major trigger events, and there is actually a reason the jailer...
Yeah, oh, this is why you're saying I pre-watched it. Okay, I mean, this was just obvious to me at this point. If if the roots were that important and this is where she was being formed, then obviously the thing that all the roots are attached to, the world trees, would be extremely important. And yeah, we fucked one up in Shadowlands, right? Burn it. I mean, Teldrassil is gone. So, yeah, makes sense.
Orchestrated that. As I just said, world trees are much more important.
I didn't come to that conclusion,
This
got
got
pre-watched.
Haranir to start coming out of hiding. It got a Radiant Song to start. It pushed a whole lot of other events into motion that we are just figuring out right now. So Blizzard really did throw a curveball on this one, and looks like Harandar isn't going to be just like a random filler zone for Midnight, but probably the zone where we will get the most answers as to what exactly happened and what Azeroth truly is. Also, what is this Cloud Serpent spirit called Al-Sharam, and how does that play into the entire ordeal? And also, what is the actual nature of Azeroth? Based on these recent hints, it kind of seems to be shifting more towards Azeroth being life-oriented as opposed to elemental, and this just kind of opens like a Pandora's box. Who is Elundan, and why is she connected to everyone from the Night Elves to the World Trees? Is she possibly a Titan plant, or the daughter of the goddess Alan-Hara? All of these are topics I'll discuss in the future as we learn more about what is really happening. Thanks for watching. Check out my video on the neutral zone that we just discovered in the alpha by clicking on the screen, and also check out my video on the Titan lore and Greek mythology that I've recorded live on site in Italy by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, one thing certainly that... Oh, geez, that's loud. One thing I certainly didn't know is the troll or the Haranir are like... They're more ancient than the trolls. I thought they were the evolutionary link between trolls and night elves, but this says no, that they're the original, and then trolls and night elves branched out from them. So there you go. That's some new lore. And then this whole thing about Azeroth being a rooty, nature-y thing before it was turned into this captured world soul the Titans put together. Interesting stuff. We'll see how all this lore continues to play out going forward.